Chapter 4. A Surprising Use for Honey. The man began dragging the young slave behind him like a wild horse he had lassoed in an arena. Udo couldn't defend himself, or he would have been strangled. Mucius shook himself out of his stupor and took a heroic position in the man's path. "Let that slave go at once," he cried. "He belongs to us." The man spat his contempt and shoved Mucius aside with his arm. "Ow!" Mucius shouted and kicked the man in the shins. The ex-gladiator didn't seem to feel it. "Get lost!" he barked, exactly like the three-headed dog Cerberus, "or I'll break every bone in your body." Now the other boys sprang to Mucius's rescue. Julius, who saw his 450 sesterces disappearing forever, grabbed Udo's sleeve and clung to it, but the sleeve tore off, and Julius took a hard seat on the pavement. Caius and Rufus rushed the man and beat him with their fists. Antonius and Publius tried to tear the rope from his hand. At the same time, Flavius was dancing around the babblers, pleading for help from all the good gods, from Jupiter all the way down to the scale of Ceres. A circle of spectators had formed. They watched the exhibition with disapproval. Nobody moved to help the boys. Some women started railing at them. "Just another example of the abysmal corruption of our youth today," one woman yelled. "Now they're attacking helpless citizens in the middle of the forum in broad daylight." "Someone should call the police," another woman cried, embracing her two little children protectively. "Wouldn't you know? The police are never around when you need them," a man commented, stuffing a fig in his mouth. Meanwhile, the fight over Udo was getting more and more violent. Antonius bit the ex-gladiator in the hand to make him release the rope. The man grew really angry. With one movement of his arm, he threw Caius, Rufus, Antonius, and Publius to the ground. They tumbled around the vendor's feet as though an elephant had swept them there with its trunk. Caius, out of his mind with anger, leapt up, grabbed the pail full of honey, and dumped it over the ex-gladiator's head. Shocked, the man dropped the rope holding Udo, and the boys tore off with the slave, the noose still around his neck. As they ran across the forum, the only audible sound was the ex-gladiator's low gurgling. They turned into the Sabura district and a little farther on rushed up the stone steps to the Esquiline. "Into our cave," Mucius cried. "We'll be safe there." He hadn't needed to say it. The boys always ran to their cave for cover when things got hot. The cave lay hidden on an isolated slope of the Esquiline and was difficult for the uninitiated to find. Safely inside, the boys dropped exhausted onto the wood crates they used as chairs. "That honey was a stroke of genius, Caius," Publius said, panting. Caius grinned. Praise from Publius was rarer than a good mark from Xantippus. "You saved our lives," Antonius said between fits of coughing. "If it weren't for you, that gladiator would have killed us all." "But who can that monster be?" Julius muttered while he struggled for breath. "And what, by Jupiter, can he want of Udo?" Mucius asked. Unfortunately, Udo couldn't help them out. The poor fellow was mute. "What are we going to do with Udo?" Rufus asked. "It's out of the question now to risk going down the street with him." "There's only one thing to do," Julius said. "Tonight, when it gets dark, we'll take him to the police and hand him over." "Please, young masters, do not do that," Udo suddenly said, simply and distinctly and in the best Latin. "If you give me up to the police, I am doomed." The boys stared at him with mouths agape. Udo could speak. Flabbergasted, they were the ones who were speechless now.